It was 3:42 a.m. when Mr. Cade woke up. The room was quiet. Too quiet. Outside, the lights of the giant city blinked through the glass wall. Neon signs flashed red and blue, dancing across the walls of his luxury penthouse. The night was silent, but something felt wrong. He sat up, his head pounding. His shirt was half open, and his watch was missing. He couldn't remember going to bed. He rubbed his temples. Then he turned and saw her. Lying beside him, in his bed, was Lura. She was his maid. A tall, elegant alien woman from the outer colonies, pale silver skin, long dark hair that shimmered in the low light. Her body, usually wrapped in a crisp uniform, was now covered only by a thin blanket, but that wasn't the problem. The problem was, she wasn't supposed to be there. Lura? He whispered. No answer. She was unconscious, her breathing shallow. He leaned closer and froze. There was blood on her arm, a deep cut. Not fresh, but not fully healed either. Something sharp had ripped through her skin. Cade pulled back, panic rising. What happened? Why is she here? He stood up, grabbed his coat from the floor, and walked around the bed. Lura didn't move. He checked the security system on his wall screen. No alerts, no break-ins. The cameras didn't show her entering the room. It was like she had appeared out of thin air. Cade returned to the bed. Gently, he touched her shoulder. Suddenly, she gasped. Her eyes shot open, glowing blue in the dark. Lura! He stepped back. She looked around the room, confused and scared. Her hands trembled. She tried to speak, but no words came out at first. Then, in a shaky voice, she said, "They're watching us." "They know." Cade stared at her. "Who's watching us?" She looked at him, but her eyes seemed far away. I don't remember. I ran, I think." Her voice faded. She closed her eyes again, breathing hard. Cade sat down on the edge of the bed. His mind was racing. Lura had always been quiet, polite, robotic even. Like all alien maids, her emotions were controlled. She followed orders, never broke rules. She never came into his bedroom, never even looked at him unless spoken to. So why was she here now? Hurt, bleeding, confused. And afraid. He noticed something else. On her wrist was a small burn mark, like she had worn something metal, and it had exploded or been ripped off. He remembered something strange from the night before. A voice, a scream, a flash of blue light, but it was all blurry. He walked to the corner of the room where his indoor plants were. Something caught his eye. A small black cube, almost invisible in the shadows. He picked it up. It was warm to the touch, smooth, alien design. Not from Earth. He brought it closer to Lura. Her eyes opened again. This time, wide and alert. "Don't touch it," she whispered. "What is it?" Her voice cracked. "It's mine. I took it. They were chasing me." "Who was chasing you?" "I don't know," she said, shaking her head slowly. "I think I escaped." Cade didn't understand. Escape from where? She didn't answer. He stared at the cube. It had no buttons, no screen. Just a thin line glowing blue along the side. It pulsed, slowly. He placed it on the table and looked back at Lura. Her hands were clutching the blanket. She was shaking. Not from cold. From fear. Suddenly, her voice became cold. "If they find me, they will erase everything." "Who? Who are they?" She looked directly into his eyes. "The ones who made me." Cade felt his stomach twist. "Made her?" "Lura, you're a person, not a machine." She smiled, but it was sad. Not completely. Silence filled the room again. Only the faint hum of the city outside. Then she whispered, "You were there last night. You saved me. You just don't remember yet." Cade's breath stopped. "What?" Lura sat up slowly, her body shaking, her voice low. "They wiped your memory too, but you fought back. You helped me escape, Cade stepped back. His head was spinning. I don't remember anything. You will, she said softly. Then her eyes began to glow again. I just hope we're not too late. She was awake now, but not herself. Lura sat on the edge of the bed, her silver hands resting on her knees, eyes staring at the floor. She didn't move. She didn't blink. Mr. Cade stood nearby, watching her like she was a ticking bomb. He had known her for 2 years. She cleaned his house, cooked his meals, never broke a rule. But now, she sat there, blood on her arm, half naked in his bed, talking about memories being erased. I don't remember coming here, she said in a low voice, but my body hurts, like it's been running, fighting. She lifted her arm and touched the cut. Then, slowly, she pulled up her sleeve. Cade's eyes widened. Her skin was glowing faintly underneath, a soft pattern of blue lines, like circuits. Alien tech. Nothing like normal skin. I never saw that before, she whispered. It's new, Cade frowned. Is it inside you? I think I was built with it. His chest tightened. Lura, are you a robot? She shook her head. No, I'm real. I bleed. I feel. But something was added to me recently. Cade took a breath and looked at the black cube on the table. You said they're watching. Who are they? Lura stood up slowly. I don't know their names. I only remember flashes. A white room. A bright light. Voices behind glass. She paused, her fingers shaking as she pointed at the cube. That thing was in my hand when I escaped. Cade walked over and picked it up. The cube was silent now, but still warm. I think it stores data, she said. Maybe my memories, maybe secrets. Suddenly, Lura stepped closer. I need to touch it. Cade hesitated. Are you sure it's safe? No, she replied, but I need to know the truth. She reached for it. As soon as her fingers touched the cube, everything changed. A blinding blue light shot out, filling the room. Cade shielded his eyes. Then, a vision appeared. It was not a video. It was like a memory being shared. They both saw it together. The vision. Lura was running through a hallway. Sirens blared. Red lights flashed. Behind her, soldiers in black suits shouted orders. She was holding the same cube. Blood dripped from her leg. Cade's voice shouted in the distance. Lura! This way. She turned a corner and saw him, wearing a dark jacket, holding a stolen HFY Sci. He opened a door and pulled her inside. Then, darkness. The vision faded. Back in the present, Lura fell to her knees. Cade dropped the cube in shock. You were there, she whispered. You were the one who saved me. He didn't know what to say. His head hurt. He saw flashes now, a corridor, red lights, Lura's face screaming. You said they wiped my memory. Yes, she said. They wipe everyone's memory who sees the lab. But you fought it. You got me out. Cade stared at his hands. Was he part of something illegal? Did he break into a secret lab? Why? Before he could ask, a beeping sound came from the cube. Lura picked it up. A small hologram appeared above it. Robotic voice spoke. Warning, target Lura 17 active. Trace signal detected. Termination protocol begins in 12 hours. Her face turned pale. They found me. Cade looked at the glowing text. What does that mean? It means we have 12 hours before they come to erase me. For good. Cade's heart pounded. We need to hide now, Lura nodded. And I need to remember everything, before it's too late. The cube began to hum, not loud. Just enough to make the floor vibrate. Lura held it in both hands now, standing in the center of the room like she was holding a heart. A second ago, it was just glowing. Now it was alive. Cade stepped closer. What's it doing? Lura didn't answer. Her eyes were fixed on the cube, glowing faintly blue. Just like her veins. The cube responded to her body like it knew her. Suddenly, a sharp click echoed through the room. A hidden seam on the cube opened. A small crystal chip rose from the center, spinning slowly in the air. Then a calm, cold voice came from nowhere. Memory protocol unlocked. Subject, Lura 17. Warning, emotional data breach detected. Cade looked at her. Lura 17? That's your name? I thought my name was just Lura, she whispered. I didn't know I was a number. Loading memory fragment, the voice said. In an instant, a hologram surrounded them, not just a floating image. They were inside it. White walls, bright lights. A laboratory. Alien children in glass pods. Machines humming. Scientists in black robes. And there, in the middle, a younger Lura, wearing a gray suit. Eyes dull, movements robotic. No. Lura stepped forward, shaking her head. I don't want to see this. Cade followed her. We need to know. The hologram played on. A group of men watched her from behind glass. One of them said, Lura 17 is emotionally stable. The loyalty code is working. She believes she's human enough. Begin Phase 4, emotional bonding with assigned subject. Suddenly, Lura's holographic image turned and looked straight at Cade. You were the assigned subject, she whispered. What? You were the one they gave me to. But I didn't know about this. The hologram faded. Lura dropped the cube. Her body trembled. Her breath was heavy. They programmed me to be loyal to you. Cade stared at her in disbelief. So all these years, everything you felt? I don't know what's real anymore, she said, tears in her voice. Was it me? Or the code? He stepped toward her. Lura, you saved me last night. You broke free. That wasn't programming. That was you. She looked up at him. For the first time, her eyes weren't just glowing. They were afraid. I don't want to love you because someone made me. And I don't want to protect someone just because I'm guilty, he said. They stood in silence. Then Lura bent down and picked up the cube again. It was silent now. There are more files in this, she said. Files that can tell us everything. Cade nodded. Then we need help unlocking them. She hesitated. There's only one person who might help, an old scientist. He used to work for the program. He disappeared years ago. But I remember his face now. Do you know where to find him? I think I do. Suddenly, the lights in the room flickered. The cube flashed red. A deep voice rang out. Signal traced. Subject Lura 17 located. Termination squad en route. Cade grabbed Lura's hand. We need to go, now. No time to pack, she said. They're watching through your systems. Cade ran to his shelf, pulled a small black case, cash, burner ID, and a stolen security card. Where's the scientist? Sector 9, she said, heading to the door. Old colony zone. No cameras, no drones. As they reached the exit, Cade turned and looked back at the apartment, the place where he lived, alone for years. Cold, quiet, safe. Now it was a crime scene, a lie wrapped in glass. He looked at Lura. No longer a maid, no longer a mystery, now a living weapon with broken memories. I hope you're ready to find the truth, he said. She gave a sad smile. I hope the truth is ready to find me. They disappeared into the neon night. The city wasn't quiet anymore. Not for them. Lura and Cade moved like ghosts through the lower sectors, dark tunnels beneath the rich towers. This was the part of the city where the cameras didn't work, or were paid not to. The air was thick with smoke and engine oil. Broken screens blinked with dead ads. Drones buzzed overhead, but not the normal kind. Black wings, silent, watching. They found our heat signature, Lura said, pulling up her hood. Cade looked over his shoulder. How? They're linked to me, through the cube. Through my blood. I was made to be followed. He cursed under his breath. So no place is safe? She stopped and turned to him. We don't need safe, we need fast. Then she touched a nearby wall panel, a locked gate. Her fingers sparked with blue light. The system hissed and unlocked. Cade blinked. You can do that? I didn't know I could, she said. But my body remembers things my mind forgot. They stepped through the gate. It slammed shut behind them. Underground transit, abandoned tracks, the tunnel stretched into blackness. Old train tracks, long unused, rats scattered. Pipes leaked steam. They ran for 5 minutes straight. Then the sound came, a high-pitched screech, metal claws scraping against the walls. Fast, hunting. Cade froze. What the hell is that? Lyra didn't stop. One of them. A synthetic tracker. Biohound class. Built to follow defectives like me. Cade grabbed a metal rod from the side wall. Then let it come. You can't fight it with that. Watch. Me, she paused. Her face was lit only by a flickering light. You would really fight for me? She asked. He looked at her. You're not just some maid. You're the only thing in this city that feels real. The screech got louder. Then it came. A machine with skin, 4 legs. A black shell, glowing red eyes, fast as wind, no mouth. No mercy. Cade swung the rod as it lunged. It hit the beasts. Sighed, but bounced off like plastic. Lyra stepped in. Her hands glowed bright now. Blue flames running through her arms. She grabbed the creature mid-air and slammed it into the wall. The wall cracked. The beast twitched. Lyra stared at her own hands in shock. I didn't know I could do that. You're full of surprises, Cade said, out of breath. They kept moving. Old colony zone. Sector 9. 2 hours later, they reached it. The forgotten part of the city. No lights, no guards. Just broken buildings and silent streets. Here, old aliens and rejected tech workers lived quietly, the kind of people who didn't ask questions. They found a small mechanics workshop behind a wall of rusted metal. Lyra knocked 3 times, paused, then twice again. A slot in the door opened. An old, tired face looked out. One eye was cybernetic. The other was human and full of regret. You, the man said, voice dry. I thought you were dead. So did one, Lyra replied. We need your help. Inside the workshop, the man's name was Dr. Yorin, once a lead scientist on the Lyra project. Now, just a ghost hiding from his past. He scanned Lyra with a handheld device. His hand trembled. I warned them not to use emotional bonding in her model, he muttered. But they wanted loyalty. They wanted her to love someone she could never betray. He looked at Cade. So they gave her you. Cade's jaw tightened. I never agreed to that. You didn't have to. You were a donor. You gave money to the program years ago. Probably forgot. Then why do I feel like I never had a choice either? Cade asked. Yorin sighed. That's what this cube holds. The full truth about her creation. About your connection. About what they're really trying to erase. Lyra stepped forward. Then unlock it. The old man looked afraid. If I do, there's no going back. They'll know we did it. They'll come harder, faster. Lyra looked at Cade. He nodded. Let them come. She looked back at Yorin. I'm done running. Open the truth. The truth didn't come in silence. It came screaming through the cube. Inside the mechanics workshop. Dr. Yorin stood trembling as the black cube opened again, this time completely. No secrets. No locks, no safety. Just a flood of data and memories. Like a storm crashing through the room, Lyra screamed, not in pain, in recognition. Her knees hit the ground. Her hands clutched her head. The glowing lines on her arms pulsed, shifting shapes. Cade rushed to her side. Lyra! She looked up, eyes wild. It's all there now, all of it. They lied to me. Lead to you. The cube hovered, spinning. Slowly, whispering memories out loud. File 27, Emotional Conditioning Phase. Subject Lura 17 assigned emotional pair bonding to donor Cade Rowan. Emotional reward hormones to activate upon exposure to subject's voice, scent, touch. Cade felt cold. They didn't just assign you to me, he said. They wired you to feel something. Lura stood slowly. But here's the problem. Cade, they designed the feelings, but they couldn't control what I'd do with them. She stepped closer. When I first saw you, I smiled because I had to. She placed her hand on his chest, but the first time I wanted to, I knew. Something had changed. Cade tried to speak, but her words crushed his breath. I don't know if I was made to love you, or if I learned to. He turned away. How do we know what's real, Lura? Her voice cracked. We don't. Maybe I'll never know. Dr. Yoren cleared his throat quietly. There is a way. They both turned. The old man picked up a small device from the table, a scanner, pulsing with red and blue lights. It's experimental, dangerous, but it can isolate artificial responses from natural ones. It'll show you which feelings were programmed and which are your own. Lura looked at it. Then at Cade. What if nothing's real? He shook his head. I don't care what part was fake. You jumped in front of a tracker for me. You lit your hands on fire for me. That wasn't code, that was choice. Lura stared at the scanner, then took it. Run the test, she said. If I'm going to fight for my life, I want to know if I'm doing it as myself. 10 minutes. Later, after the scanner beeped. Yorin looked up from the data. Well? Lura asked. The old man smiled sadly. You were programmed to feel safety, loyalty, protection around him. Nothing more, she blinked. Then, what about the rest, the deeper feelings? That wasn't part of the code, Yorin said softly. They evolved, organically, from your time together. Cade stepped forward. So, it's real? Yorin nodded. It's real. Lura didn't speak for a moment. Then she exhaled. Like something heavy had finally left her chest. I'm still scared, she said. I don't know where I end and the machine begins. Cade reached for her hand. Then we'll figure it out together. Their fingers touched, and this time no alarm sounded. No programming triggered. Just silence. And warmth. Outside the workshop, a gust of wind blew across the old colony zone. A mechanical drone hovered far above the street, invisible. Watching, listening, inside its lens, 2 glowing heat signatures. Lura and Cade. The drone sent one silent signal. Target confirmed. Preparing for final extraction. Trust died in a whisper. That's how betrayal feels when it's quiet. Like something slipping through your fingers, while you're still holding it. Lura sat on the workshop floor, still holding the scanner in her lap. Her hands were calm, but her mind wasn't. She had just learned her feelings were real, not part of the code. And for a few minutes, she thought that meant freedom. But freedom doesn't last long when someone's hunting you, behind the walled ER. Yorin stood near the rusted back panel of the workshop, staring at an old COM screen. His one real eye blinked nervously. His cybernetic one zoomed in on the data. Incoming signal, encrypted, military, grade, fast. They'd found them, and he had already sent the coordinates. Yorin's hands trembled. He didn't want to. He really didn't. But they'd promised him a clean record. And his daughter's safety. He looked back at Lura and Cade, sitting close together, unaware. I'm sorry, he whispered. Inside the workshop, Lura felt it before she heard it. A subtle hum in the air, too precise to be natural. She stood up fast. They're coming. Cade turned. What? She ran to the wall panel, touched it. Blue sparks lit up, but no reaction. They've disabled this zone's power. No security, no lockdown. Cade grabbed the cube. We're out of time. Just then, a shadow moved behind them. Dr. Yoren, holding a small weapon. Don't, Cade said, voice cold. I never meant to hurt her. Yoren said, shaking. They gave me no choice. Lura didn't flinch. You always had a choice. He looked at her, eyes full of regret. You weren't supposed to feel anything. You were supposed to obey. And you were supposed to help, she replied. He raised the gun, but Cade moved first, shoving him hard against the wall. The weapon clattered away. Go, Cade said to Lura. Find a way out. What about you? I'll catch up. Lura paused, then vanished through the back hallway. Cade turned to Yoren. You betrayed the one thing still human in this whole damned city. Yoren coughed. I didn't betray her. I betrayed them. You just haven't met them yet. Outside. Ambush Lura ran into the alleyway and froze. Black armored vehicles. At least 3, drones above. Agents with rifles. Helmets like insects, no faces. The lead agent stepped forward. Lura 17. Come quietly. You are property of Project Seraphim. She raised her glowing hands. I'm not property anymore. They opened fire. Blue bolts. Rapid shots. Lura ducked, rolled, and fired a pulse from her palm. It exploded against a truck, sending agents flying. She moved like a dancer, like something half wild, half trained. A blur of silver skin and burning blue light. But there were too many of them, suddenly. More shots. From behind. Cade. He single quotes D stolen Yoren's pulse gun and charged into the fight. You really came, Lura said, ducking beside him. He grinned. You really thought I wouldn't? Together, they fought back, side by side. Machine versus machine. Man versus memory. And for a moment, they were winning. The turning point, an explosion hit the wall beside them. Lura screamed, her shoulder burned, skin torn. Cade dragged her into cover. We can't win this. Not here. Lura looked up, barely breathing. The cube. It's still in the workshop, Cade swore. I left it. They had to get it back. But as he stood, an agent tackled him from behind. Lura's vision blurred. Pain shot through her chest. He's yours, said a cold robotic voice in her ear. You can die or obey. But Lura smiled, blood on her lips. I'm done obeying. Her hand lit up. She slammed it into the agent's chest, and everything went white. Aftermath. When the dust cleared, the alley was silent. Cade was bleeding, holding Lura in his arms. She was alive. But barely. Her skin flickered with glitching. Light. Her voice was soft. They took the cube. Cade held her close. Then we take it back. Her eyes met his. Together? He nodded. Double quotes. Together. Double quotes. There was no plan. Just one promise. Cade had made it when he held her in his arms beneath the burning alley light. We're not running anymore. We take it back. We finish this. Now they were standing on top of the enemy's sky fortress. Blackstone 9, orbiting low above Earth, like a giant mechanical vulture. The cube was here. So was their last chance, inside. Blackstone 9, enemy stronghold. Lura's footsteps were soft, but each one echoed inside her mind. This was the place she was created, the place her memories were erased, the place her programming was born, and where she would break it for good. Cade walked beside her, pulse gun ready, face bruised, jacket torn. Still standing, still with her. They passed rows of cold white doors. Behind each one, a memory stolen, a subject erased, a life rewritten. She touched one door. I used to live in here, she whispered. Cade looked at her. And now? I'm not something that lives in a box anymore. They reached the core vault, a massive door shaped like an eye. The cube pulsed behind it. Vault core. Inside the memory room, the door opened. The cube floated in the center, spinning fast, leaking data like sparks, and waiting for them was Director Vale, the man behind it all. Pale, smiling, more machine than man. Now, you came all this way, Vale said softly, for something that was never yours. Cade raised the gun. She's not yours either. Vale chuckled. Oh, she still is. You think love makes her free? Love was the lock I installed, not the key. He turned to Lura. Tell me, girl, would you have cared for him if I hadn't ordered it? Lura looked at the cube, then at Cade, then she stepped forward. I loved him wrong, she said. Because I loved him out of programming. Because I chose to love him anyway. Vale frowned. Then choose now. Surrender, or he dies. The lights turned red. Guns clicked from all sides. Cade whispered, Don't, but Lura stepped toward the cube, hands glowing with unstable power. I'm not surrendering, she said. I'm overwriting. The transformation, she reached into the cube, fingers phasing through light and code. The system screamed. Warning, core override. Her circuits lit brighter than ever. Memories exploded behind her eyes, all the others like her, the ones who didn't escape, the ones erased and discarded. She saw them all now, and she spoke for them. I was made to obey, she whispered, voice rising, but I chose freedom. The cube cracked, then shattered. A pulse of blue-white light flooded the room. Machines died. Alarms cut out. The air itself changed. Silence after the storm. Cade blinked through the smoke. The weapons were gone. The agents frozen. Vale's body lay broken, his systems fried by her pulse. And Lura? She was on her knees, skin flickering, eyes dim. Lura! He ran to her. She looked up, weak but smiling. I rewrote it all. Every order. Every file. They're free now. Even the ones who were never born. You're glitching, he said. I overloaded my core to fry theirs, she whispered. It was the only way. No, he said, holding her tightly. There has to be another. There is. She pulled a small chip from her neck, her last command. Code. Put this in the emergency pod. It'll reboot me. But I won't remember anything. Cade's breath caught. You mean? I won't remember you. He stared at her, the woman he had learned to protect, to trust, to love, and if I don't, he asked, what if I don't do it? She smiled. Then I'll die, but free. Escape pod. Final choice. The countdown had started. The fortress was collapsing. Systems melting. The end was near. Cade placed the chip in the pod. Lura lay inside, eyes closed. He touched her face. Even if you forget me, he said, I'll find you again. He closed the pod. Hit launch. The pod shot into the sky. Cade turned back, the fire closing in. He ran. Weeks later, far from the city, a quiet field, a small cabin, sunlight, birds. Cade stood outside, planting herbs, hands dirty, heart still heavy. The door opened. Lura stepped out, holding a book. She looked different, softer, no glow, no memory. She smiled shyly. Hi. Cade smiled back. Morning. She tilted her head. Why do you always look at me like that? He shrugged. Just feels like I've known you forever. She laughed. Weird, I feel the same. And in that quiet moment, there were no secrets. No programming. Just choice and freedom.